have to be aware. The first is, again, who did fly the planes? And I already told you, they think they're remote control. And you got the cell calls, right? They think these were computer-generated calls, and they think this was remote control. So, on to the who could have done this. Now we got it. It would have the motive to do this, the ability to do these sort of things, and the opportunity to get the stuff on the planes, intercept the cell phone calls, and get into the buildings to plant the thermite. They claim the most likely candidate is going to be the U.S. federal government, the black ops by the U.S. federal government. So far so good? Is all something there? I'm just the messenger. I just deliver the pizza. You have to decide if you want to hear it. Yeah.
Could you just explain what ALT, ALT, and then CT? What does that mean?
Oh, alternative conspiracy theory. Sorry about that. The alternative conspiracy theory. Motive. Yeah. Oops. Put the stars out. What would it look like? Right? So once you end up saying, well, the federal government did it. They have missiles. They have thermite experts. They can get into buildings. They can take over airplanes. They can fake cell phone calls. The feds did it. They want to know who. And the typical suspects are George Bush, Mr. Cheney, his vice president, Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of Defense, and a small group of generals in the Pentagon, unnamed and unknown. So that's what they usually do, is they blame the administration and its chief players. And then they go, arrest them, convict them, execute them. And of course, this never happens, but that's right, right? That takes us to what are Keeley's objections to ambitious conspiracy theory. Keeley says two things. He says a theory like this can't be true. You don't even have to study it. Because, one, public trust. We can rely upon law enforcement. We can rely upon the media. We have public trust in sources of information that they'll reveal the conspiracy if it was true. Very likely they will. But they never did. So we know the theory isn't true. We don't have to look at the theory. We don't have to look at any of this stuff. We don't have to even worry about it. We'll just wait and see if the media or law enforcement, LE for law enforcement, they're going to tell us. They're going to go, it happened, it hasn't, right? But this never happened. They didn't ever do that. There was never anything on TV. There were no trials. There were no arrests. There were no convictions. So we can be sure none of this is true. Because if it was true, it would be the story of the century, and law enforcement would be all over it. Particularly federal law enforcement. Yeah, law enforcement. LE for law enforcement. Second, okay, guess what? There's also uncontrollability. And that's the idea, that there's going to be too many people involved, with too many different motives, for them to be controlled. Some of them, for this reason, for another reason, for whatever reason, will come forward and reveal the truth to us. I was in there planting the explosives. I am the one that programmed the cell phone calls. I was there when we put the avionics on the planes and took control of them remotely. You know, somebody's going to come and tell a tale and be on Oprah, right? They'll go to the media, and the media will tell us what they told the media. And we'll be, well, let's give them a pardon, put up a statue. And that never happened either, right? Or did it? Don't know. Objections to ambitious conspiracy theory. It says public trust and controllability inevitably, almost inevitably, will reveal the truth, that this never happens, but this never happened. Make sense? So far, so good? Loose change theory and human approach. I was asking you to tell to do two things. Tell me if you believe this theory.
If we believe it,
Yeah. Tell me if you disbelieve it. If you say you believe it, tell me why. If you say no, I don't believe, I believe it's false, tell me why. Or you can say I don't know. I studied agnosticism. Just like when people say I don't know if God exists or doesn't, I can't tell. You can also say the same thing to this. You can say I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know it's false, but I don't know it's true. Who knows?
For the loose change theory.
What do you think? Take your pick, guys. Approach. Those are my criticisms. That we thinking about that. There's lots of reasons to think. Even if this whole nightmare was true, the media would not pursue this story. This doesn't require that the media be in on it, be under the control of the government, even though that might also be true. All it requires is if they look at the story and they realize how damaging and dangerous it could be, and how it could, in the end, by publicizing, convincing the world, convincing the American people that the government just murdered 3,000 of their fellow citizens, that's very dangerous. I could easily spiral into chaos, revolution, mass killings in the streets, crash the economy, which is bad for advertising. That's how they make their money. It could get a lot of more people killed that don't need to die. And they can also reason in the background. Suppose this is true. The government did this thing. They did this thing. Really, this is a very toxic truth, if it is a truth at all. And why not just trust in the conspiracy? This means, let's just think about it. I didn't think this one through. I didn't think about the unforeseen side effects of releasing certain kinds of truths. How about uncontrollability? You also saw that